All right, so we're going to be still talking about this Carmelo Anthony and Metcalf situation. There's been some new developments. Some of you may have heard that Anthony's bail has been reduced to $250,000, $250,000, and he has been released. And he is presently home on bail. He has a ankle monitor. He has to stay in the house, and he's got other restrictions of what he can and cannot do. So we want to say congratulations because it has been our position from the whole time. This young man should have never been locked up. He should have never been given such an outrageous bail when we all know some of our most famous killers have received a quarter of what this teenage young man received. And I like what the judge said. She said bond should not be a punishment. And there's a lot of people online. We know who they are. I'm supposed to do like this. We know who they are that have such a hatred for anything that may look like it's not working in their favor. They're mad because we have said and claimed and have tried to explain that it was self-defense. We're going to go over that tonight. We're going to go into some details. We're going to break down some stuff. We're going to go into the police reports. We're going to look at the police reports. We're going to listen to the interviews. We're going to listen to some of the witnesses. We're going to go over the witnesses' statements. We're going to go over the police reports, and we're going to look and we're going to break it down so that it can be clear as to what happened, because we're operating under a false pretense of what I hear going on throughout the internet. And I'm going to share with you. And by the end of this information, you will also know and understand why he had to do what he had to do. So, just to take a step back for a second, we want to congratulate the Anthony family for being able to get their son home today and back with his family after suffering a traumatic event. Now, some people might say that how can I say his family suffered a traumatic event? What his family suffered, um, they have not lost their life. Well, they almost did. You can say what you want to say. Um, Anthony's life, Carmelo's life, was in jeopardy at that moment when those individuals attacked him. You can paint it any way you want to paint it. You can pretty it up any way you want to pretty it up. We've heard stuff like, well, the young man just asked him to leave and just asked him to go to another tent because this wasn't his tent. We've heard all of that nonsense. We've seen them look past all of the facts, look past everything that was going on and hold on to one thing. But he had a knife. But he had a knife. Why would he bring a knife to school? Well, number one, he wasn't in school. And number two, there are millions of people today walking around with pocket knives, knives in their pockets. They're walking around with protective measures. Some people carry pocket knives. Some people carry guns. Some people carry mace. Some people carry stunners. So stop trying to make it as a big deal because he had a pocket knife. And as I said in one of my earlier videos, thank God he had that pocket knife because there may be a whole nother story today. So what we're going to do tonight, we're going to look at some information that I put together. We're going to break it down. We're going to go over it piece by piece. I don't know how long it's going to be. Obviously, we're going to have to break it up and spread it out. But we're going to go over piece by piece the things that happen, specifically the things that are not talked about and try to explain it to everyone. All right. So let's get into this.
He's a good kid. We just got a little altercation, and that's really it. But he has a good heart. Everyone knows. Everyone around here knows he's a great kid. He just one mistake from that dude, and just took my brother. He didn't deserve it. No one deserves a loss from a family like that. I know people that lose their family members all the time, but I just didn't know it was gonna be mine so soon. My best friend and my brother my whole life, but if y'all can just not y'all, sorry. Just thank y'all for just comforting us, and the Frisco area has been comforting my family and me. I just really appreciate everything that everyone's done. It's a really hard loss, but we're gonna get through it with my family, so we'll just stay together. I mean, our relationship is really the tightest I've ever seen in somebody, between two human beings. I mean, we did everything together, clean the dishes together, do the yard work together, sports, you name anything in the world, it's always us two and one thing. So you're always just basically one person.
You guys just a few minutes apart?
4 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Austin was first by 4 minutes. He got stuck in me.
So technically your bigger brother.
Yes, ma'am. He does a lot of big brother stuff around. He's always on my back. Even if I'm in the wrong, he'll always.
All right, I've heard that. He has always had my back, even when I'm in the wrong. I want you to remember that, because that's a confession. He's telling you about the nature of their relationship. No matter what, my brother got my back, even when I'm in the wrong.
Take my side no matter what. It's just really heartbreaking to see someone that cares for you that much and does everything even by your side no matter what, just pass away like that.
Mm-hmm. Your mom told me that you were there.
Yes, ma'am.
If you don't mind, what happened?
There was this kid, before I knew his name now, this kid was sitting under our tent at track. We asked him to move.
We asked him to move. We. Not Austin, but we. And in a moment, you're going to find out who the we is. Listen carefully. This is his first interview. Before they had a chance to prep him, before they had a chance to mold him and tell him what to say and what not to say. I'm sure that they told him not to go into too many details, right? But notice the we.
He started getting aggressive and talking reckless, and my brother stepped in and said, "You need to move."
All right, here we go. His brother stepped in. So there was already a confrontation going on. And so if his brother stepped in, that means that it was more than one participant. And so I know that the internet has painted this like it was a solo fight between Anthony and Austin. That is not the case. It was a fight between Anthony and the gang, because it was more than just the twins there, if you listen closely as to what he says. All right. And then Austin steps in and he escalates the situation.
He's like, "Make me move." Austin grabbed his backpack. The kid, I tried to whip around as fast as I could, but I didn't see the stab. But then I look at my brother, and then I'm not going to talk about the rest. So yeah. That's just what I saw. And I tried to help him, but
it was just senseless.
It was really senseless. Really, I don't know why a person would do that to someone just over that little argument. It's just crazy in this world nowadays how people just up and do that.
It's interesting that he's describing this as a little argument. All right. But the reality of it is, the moment that it becomes physical in any manner, it is more than just an argument. All right. I understand we you're trying to describe it in a way that it have the least impact, that you know what really happened. Okay. He's calling it an argument, a little argument, when the reality of it is that they jump on Anthony.
Like that man has a family. That man has people that care about them all the time, and he did everything for our family too. He was a strong man. He was a strong kid. He was strong, and I know I'm strong too, but he's a little stronger. But he did a lot for our family and a bunch of stuff that we just don't recognize. And it's just like, especially throughout our friends too. Like everyone knew. Like he was the peacemaker. That's what I'm saying. Like heard someone who.
He went from the escalator, the person that instigate, that start, okay, the physical altercation, and now they want to describe him as the peacemaker. Kind of like the lady on TV, the commentator, Nancy Disgrace. Austin was scrubbed in sunshine. This is how she betrayed him. Carmelo's a thug, gangster, right? But Austin was scrubbed in sunshine, according to Nancy Disgrace. They go out of their way to paint pictures and images and create narratives to keep things going, to keep you thinking the way that they want you to think. Keep listening.
Really makes peace, really calms peace down. He makes everything sail smoothly.
He makes peace.
Because I get upset, but then he calms me down. He was just always there for me. So it's just.
All right. Listen. He says, I don't get upset. I'm the one that get upset. But Austin calms me down.
Really heartbreaking to see like how this happened.
Oh my goodness. You guys are so old.
17.
Yeah, I'm really trying not to cry, but it's a.
No, Mr. Baby.
Yeah. He was my big baby. He was 225 pounds. Both of them big boys, and they.
When it happened.
You heard him? 225 pounds. Both of them big boys. So 225 pounds times 2. That's 450. The police report that you see here on the screen clearly states that Carmelo is only 130 pounds. 130 pounds. And so he's supposed to fight 2 football players at 225 each. And he's 130 pounds. And y'all wondering why he pulled out his pocket knife. He pulled it out because he was in fear for his life. He was outnumbered by a bunch of aggressive white boys running around with their white supremacist ideology, thinking that they have the authority to just tell somebody what to do and get up. And I guess they was looking for him to say, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir, Mr. Monson, Mr. Metcalf. I should be moving right away, sir. I should be right now. I was on my way to the other tent. Outside in the rain. I know it's raining, but sir, I should go outside in the rain if you want me to go outside in the rain. Because that's what I keep hearing. Why did he just didn't get up and leave? That's what white people keep saying. Why he just didn't get up and leave? None of them saying, why did Austin go over there and bother him? Austin wasn't the tent police, and we're going to get into that in a second. We're going to dispel that myth too. So Carmelo at 130 pounds versus 2, and it was more than 2. They're not talking about it, but we're going to go into the police report. Okay? Against the 2 of them, he had a right to do whatever he felt he needed to do to protect himself from death and bodily harm. All right? Y'all want to call him a criminal. The criminal is whoever put their hands on him. That's the criminal. That's assault. And you don't get no benefits if you are hurt in the process of committing a crime. Let's keep going.
Happened. What can you tell us about what happened at that track meet? How could this thing that seems like is not on the menu of possible?
All right, so this is the second interview. This is the interview that they did with Fox. So the first interview, now they're with Fox. They've had a chance to talk to the lawyers. They've smoothed everything over. They've gotten this story together, but they've changed the story. All right? He's lying. Watch what happened.
Possibilities could happen. Again, I was at a track meet, by the way, on Tuesday. This is not something you think could ever happen. How did it happen?
So it was a really bad storm in the morning, and they had a lot of delays. And me, my brother, a couple of kids were walking back from the field house.
Me, my brother, and a couple of kids. So let's say that couple is two. Me, my brother, and a couple of kids. That's four in this group. That's a gang that Carmelo, Miss Anthony, was up against. So you can say what you want. You can paint it in any kind of paint you want to paint it in, with flowers and all of the things you want. It don't matter. All right? And I think there are going to be a lot of people, your feelings are going to be hurt when all of the information comes out. But he's changing the story now. He's going to tell you something totally different that happened into the tent.
Of the middle school, because we attended that middle school when we went to middle.
So, dude walks up, McCullough.
All right, so now here's a witness, an eyewitness that was there, independent, not an eyewitness that's from the school, not an eyewitness that's friends of the family, that's friends of the boys, okay, not an eyewitness from Memorial High School or from the coaches from Memorial High School. Here's an eyewitness from somebody that just happened to be sitting in the stand. Let's listen to what he says.
McKellen, bro, he wasn't even under the tent at the time. They came from a whole separate tent and walked over there. They intentionally went over there to this kid, man. Dude was sitting there on his phone just trying to get dry. You feel me? One thing went from another. They grabbed this man and they tried to punch on dude. Dude went in his bag and what?
They grabbed him and was trying to punch on him. Not he grabbed him. Not Austin grabbed him. Okay? They grabbed him. They was punching on him.
They went to try to jump this dude and punch on this dude, man. And he protected himself, dude. That's what happened. Yeah. It wasn't just one. It was both of them, bro. Austin, the dude that got unalive, and his brother physically went over there to intentionally. He had to break. It's not to the point that he brought a knife. For one, it wasn't on school property. The school is at least 5 to 10 miles.
For all of you that wonder, why would he bring a knife to school? That's showing reports talking of violations. But what happens when you bring a knife to school, or you bring a weapon to school, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, they weren't even in the school. They wasn't even on school grounds. This brother said it was a community event.
Miles away. It was community track meet, bruh. It wasn't a school track meet. So he had the right to have a knife on his person, bro.
And we were saying hello to old coaches.
All right, so we're going back. I wanted to put that in there so you can hear someone else talk about what actually happened. All right. So now let's go back to the Fox interview, the rest of it, and listen to some more of this.
And catching up with them. And then we're walking back to our stand. We put our tent up so all the bleachers were right there were not wet from all the rain. We come back, we sit down, and this kid said something behind me. I've never met this kid in my entire life. I never knew who he was.
Mind you now the kid is sitting down behind them, okay, and starting with them.
Said something just inappropriate and uncalled for, and I turned around and asked him who he was.
Now, mind you he's painting it that they said nothing to him. They didn't confront him. They were just in the tent, just good kids, just minding our business, and somebody behind them, this guy behind them that they didn't know, starts saying very vulgar things.
He started getting really aggressive. My brother stepped in. He started being, how he always is with just brothers.
All right. So now, again, listen to what he said. My brother stepped in and started being how we know he is. Well, how is he? He's a tyrant. He's a bully. And he's doing bullying things. How we know he is when he stepped in. That's what the boy just said.
Just having my back, and things started getting more like higher intensity. And the kid said some like aggressive stuff, like reckless stuff, and also try to handle the problem. And yeah.
And then
Austin was always one to step up. He always was one to step up and be the person that would do the right thing. And he was doing the right thing by saying to this gentleman that you're not supposed to be in this tent. This is like because they have personal items there.
He stepped up to do the right thing, to be the peacemaker. So now he's going to tell you why nobody is supposed to be in their tent. Because of theft, because people be stealing out of their tent. So their coach told them not to let anybody in their tent so that they can protect their items. This is what the man is saying.
A lot of stuff gets stolen, just like that, just precautions and stuff. And our coaches always told us don't let, other schools, like mess with our stuff. Just sit around our tent.
All right, pause. Let's go to the police report. Officer Taylor Wetzel, in his report, we're not going to read the whole thing, but I highlighted what I wanted to bring out in his report. In his report, he says Carmelo was sitting in the visitors' bleachers. The visitors' bleachers. It's there for people outside of on the team to sit. The visitors' bleachers, according to the police report. All right? According to Officer Wetzel Taylor, or Taylor Wetzel. So all of this other stuff don't make any sense. All this stuff about protecting the equipment, by protecting the stuff, by protecting from people stealing it, so they got to keep people out and da-da-da-da-da-da, is a lie. Because he was in the visitors' bleachers. It was set up for visitors. Let's keep going.
Yeah, we set that up for the girls' track every meet we had. So it's just like he knew he wasn't supposed to be there. He was it's just a tragedy what happened.
And then what happened, Austin? After your brother stepped up, what happened then?
All right. I want you to catch what just happened there. He asked Hunter what happened right after Austin stepped up. He was beginning to say what it was that happened, but his attorney is there, or somebody is there that stopped him. Okay. And now he's trying to clean the story up and give it in a proper way where he's not revealing any secrets that they're not supposed to. Okay. So whoever's there, I believe it was the attorney, just stopped him and he paused. All right.
He stepped up over there, asked him to move, got aggressive. He grabbed the bag, and then I whipped my head around, and then all of a sudden I see him running down the bleachers, grabbing his chest, just blood rushing out.
So the reality of it is that Austin stepped up, looks like, to help Hunter. So maybe Hunter ought to be arrested because he was an accomplice. He's a co-defendant. And all indications start to look like he initiated it. And Austin escalated it. Let's keep going.
He said, "Yeah, he got stabbed. He got stabbed." First, I froze for half a second. I didn't know what to do. And then I saw him about to fall. I went to go over there. I grabbed him. I see.
Stop.
Yeah, I understand. Best I can to understand.
Yeah, there was. You can see. You can picture what happened when what was coming out of his chest, and
Yeah.
y'all can visualize other stuff. I don't want to put that on my mom right now, but I pushed my hand on there to try to make it stop, and I grabbed his head and I looked in his eyes. I just saw his soul leave.
I'm not going to say anything about the tears. Everybody mourns differently. But I don't see any water in them eyes. And I don't know. You tell me what you think about these tears.
It took my soul too.
I'm so sorry. I'm going to ask you one last question. I've seen interviews with your husband, who I can hear in the side, by the way. I think he's there in the room with you. I saw an interview last night.
Oh, she said no. She wants to straighten that out. No. It's not my husband. All right. But look, Hunter stops her.
Okay, someone else.
Shh. He tells her to be quiet. Why? She was about to say, no, that wasn't my husband. No, my husband and I are not together. All right. The boy don't want her to say that. And the reason why I'm just speculating that the boy don't want her to say that because daddy been all over the internet talking about how horrible the family must be for Carmelo. All kinds of stuff. Must not be no father in the hand. He didn't raise right. All of these things. And she knows, she's ready to tell him, listen, I'm not with this guy because he was arrested for sexual assault. Oh, I'm sorry, I was supposed to say S.A.? S.A. All right. He got arrested for that. Back in 2011, right around the same time that they got a divorce. So she want to make it clear, I don't have nothing to do with him. But the son want to be like, hold up. We don't want to put that out there yet because we don't want anybody to know that he's not in the house. He's been all over the internet talking about how horrible the other family is.
Yes, okay.
Yes, sir.
But I have seen
All right, so let's go to the police report. Let's see what the police is saying. Let's go to our first report from Officer Eduardo Cortez. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. I'm not going to read all of it, but I'm just going to go through the highlights of what is pointed out in his report. And so some of the key things is it's recording the interaction with Carmelo. This is the arresting officer, Eduardo Cortez. And he writes in his report, we see the first words coming out of Carmelo's mouth. And what's the first words the boy spoke out of his mouth? Was, I was protecting myself. I was protecting myself. If you go on and read the police report some more, his second statement was he put his hands on me. Case point, where I come from, case closed. Put his hands on me, not just put his hands on me. That means that there was a physical altercation that pursued. That's what that means. I know you're going around the internet and just saying, well, he just put his hands on him, like he laid hands on him if he's in a prayer line or something. No, that's not what he means by putting his hands on me. That means that they attacked me. They tried to jump me. Okay? This wasn't a fair one. This wasn't a one-on-one fight, and I hear all of the nonsense. He should have just squared up. He should have just squabbled up. Just shoot the fair one. 1-1-1. People don't hear coward. He can't do it. He was fighting a gang by himself against all of them. And even if it wasn't all of them, even if the other people that came in the tent with him that confronted Carmelo first had went off somewhere, which we know they didn't because they're all standing around looking, because they had clicked, they came in there together, so they rolling together. We know how these things go. And so to come online and say all of these different things that are happening and try to turn them around is just totally disgusting. And we can get into why that is, all right? His third statement was, when they heard him over the radio, okay, that they had the alleged victim, him and his honesty, this gangster that you want to talk about, all right? Just experiencing a traumatic experience for him as well. Says, I'm not alleged. I did it. I protected myself. All right? Then he asked a question. After he told him that they attacked him first, they put their hands on him, that he was protecting himself. 2, that they put their hands on him. 3rd, I'm not alleged. I did this. But his first question was, is he going to be okay? Is it going to be okay? He's showing concern. He's showing empathy. Nobody's talking about any of this. They just hung up on the fact that if this was a white person, and they done forgot all about all of the white folk that have killed black people that done got away with it and went home. Some of them go home. Some of them go to Burger King before they go to jail. Okay? So cut the nonsense. Nobody's stupid. We understand the gaslighting process. We get all of that. All right, let's keep looking at some more of these reports. All right, Officer Will Otis reports. Otis says that he saw Carmelo from a distance, okay? And this person that you're trying to call a thug, that you're trying to call a gang member, a killer, scum, all kind of horrible things I've heard y'all call this young man. The police said he was crying hysterically. Crying hysterically. because he had just been traumatized and he knew something big had just happened. However, at this time, he does not know that Austin has transitioned. He's still concerned. He wants to know, is he going to be all right? And he's crying hysterically, according to Otis Wills, officer. Let's look at some more reports. Officer Taylor Wetzel, we read his stuff before. All right. He says again, Carmelo was sitting in the visitors' seat, bleachers. All right. So what do we have? We have number one, touch me. We hear people saying about the thug, touch me and see what happens. And somehow or another, we're trying to paint that as premeditation. He said, touch me. So he premeditated. That's not premeditation. And you know that is not premeditation. That's a warning. That's a don't do that because you're not going to like what happened because I'm not running from you. So touch me and see what happened. That's not premeditation, silly. That's a warning. All right. No one really thought Anthony had a weapon in his bag. So they weren't backing off. They wasn't scared of him. They thought he was bluffing. All right. Austin proceeds to touch Anthony. Then, even though he touched him, Anthony gave Austin a pass. He let it slide and then upgraded the offense. Okay? Anthony gave Austin a pass. He let him slide for touching him, upgraded the threshold of engagement, and okay, punch me and see what happened. He let him go. He touched him. He said he was going to do something. He didn't do nothing. He let it go. Then he said, all right, you go ahead. You punch me and see what happened. And Austin grabbed him and tried to physically assault him to get him out of the tent, to put him out in the rain. Where's the sportsmanship that says, hey, man, I see it's raining. You know what I mean? You're going to be all right. Chill till the rain come down. You know what I mean? You can stay here. What happened in that? No sportsmanship, no common courtesy, all right? And then going to be a bully about it and going to make somebody do something. And all I keep hearing these people say, well, why didn't he just leave? Why didn't he just leave? Why didn't he just get up and go? None of this would have happened. None of this would have happened if he'd have just left. How about none of this would have happened if Austin kept his damn hands to himself? How about that? You don't know about that. You should train your children to keep their hands to themselves. Now we would not be having this situation. We would not be having this problem. All of these things are laid out in the police reports. Officer Allison Rickey said in her report, she described his second question, which was, after telling him he was protecting himself, is what happened could be considered self-defense. And even now, at this point, he still does not know that Austin has transitioned. Okay? It's all right here in the report. Just got to read the report. And then you will see what is happening. All right? Fisher reports talks about them also being in the visitors' tent. All right? And so now the last police report we want to talk about is from Alvin Fisher. All right. Mr. Fisher said, I attempted to ask them both. He's talking about the witnesses there on the ground. Right. He says, I attempted to ask them both what happened. I could not really get anything out of Hunter because Hunter doesn't want to talk. I understand that. But he stated that he wanted to speak. I asked him what happened. And he stated that they were all sitting on the bleachers. That's a lie. You already know that they wasn't just sitting on the bleachers, that they came from another location to that tent. All right? Sitting on the bleachers under the Memorial High School tent when another male who he did not know walked over and sat under the tent. That's a lie. Because Anthony was already there when they got there. All right. The eyewitness said the boy was already there, trying to dry off, looking at his phone. All right. So we walked and sat under the tent. Then said Austin told the male that since he did not go to Memorial, he had to leave the tent. Austin and the male went back and forth, and then Austin stood up. Who initiated this? Y'all want to say Anthony initiated because he didn't listen to Austin? Are you stupid? Then Austin stood up and pushed the male to get him out of the tent. And said during this time of arguing, the male was reaching around in his bag he had left. It was at this time that the male took out a knife and stabbed Austin and then left the scene. All right? And so not only did he stab Austin, he was in a panic mode. He too was in hysteria because he was fighting. And so after the thing happened, after the fighting, after the swinging, he knew he had cut him. He dropped the knife, dropped everything, and ran. Because I don't know if it's on the police report or I may have missed it, but the police report says that they went looking, for the knife. They found the knife. And when they found the knife, they wanted to put a tarp over the knife to keep it from getting wet. And so to hold the tarp down, they took a backpack that was there and set it on the tarp to hold the tarp down. But when they looked in the bag, it was full of Centennial stuff. So the backpack that they had was Anthony's, was Carmelo's. He just dropped everything and ran. The thug, the gangster, the gang member, the killer. And when they saw him, mind you now, he ran out of the situation. He was still on the grounds. And he didn't run from the police. He did everything, and even in the police report, the one officer said that when he saw him, he was with Allison, Officer Ricky, and she was on her knee talking to him. So you know he could not have been any kind of threat, as this officer was down on her knee talking to him. Let's be honest in our givings, in our dealings, in our perceptions. Let's look at the whole truth. Let's not whitewash it. All right. I've heard people say, well, if she was on the other foot and a white boy had did that to a black guy, you would be saying something different. And I'm like, no, I would not. If the black kid instigated it and started it, then he got what he deserved. We can't be mad at that. The same way you should not be mad about what happened to Austin, because I blame you as a parent, as guardians. You should have trained your children better to have respect for others and not bully others and make them do just whatever you want them to do. That's the problem that we have, and that's the situation that we are in right now. And it's become sad. I suspect that before it's over, not only will Carmelo Anthony be acquitted, but there'll be charges against Hunter Metcalf because he was an accomplice and he was right there. And in fact, it looked like he was instrumental in starting it. So these are the reports. These are the police reports. Those are the witness, the eyewitness that was there, unaffiliated eyewitness. There's other eyewitnesses. There are other eyewitnesses in the police report. I'm not neglecting those. They all say the same thing. But we understand those are all supporters of Austin that gave these reports, that gave these testimonies as to what they saw. So they're tainted and biased from what we know. But they've interviewed, from what I understand, over 75 people. It's my understanding that they've confiscated everyone's phone also. That was there. I think that's an interesting phenomenon. But eventually the footage will come out. More and more of the footage would come out. So I want to say congratulations to the Carmelo and the Anthony family for this small little piece of relief that you may have at this time. We understand that it's not over. We understand that there's still a big battle that needs to be fought. We understand all of these things. But know this, we got your back. I don't care what anybody say. They can try to paint it any way that they want. Try to gaslight us any way that they want. Try to tell you that there's a difference between Zimmerman and Trayvon. There's a difference between Kyle Rittenhouse. There's a difference between Penny choking the homeless guy out on a train. that hadn't touched anybody. He was found not guilty. Kyle Rittenhouse quit it. Got to hang out with the judge behind the judge's desk. They kiki ha ha. What did you think was going to happen? None of them got $1 million bail. And I tell you something else that is extremely interesting, a very, very interesting phenomenon. These people that's mad at black people for supporting the Anthony family, for supporting their beliefs. They're mad at black people for giving money. These devils petition to try to have the GoFundMe taken down. But they didn't have a problem when Kyle Rittenhouse had a GoFundMe and raised money. They didn't have a problem when George Zimmerman had a GoFundMe and raised money. Or even Penny, people paying money towards his. They didn't have a problem with none of that. None of that. But because black people are supporting one of their own, they are outraged. It is sickening that people are putting money to this. It's disgrace. You're just showing your own bias. And I even stopped responding and commenting on the nonsense that I see people put online. I just start laughing. I just put laugh emojis now because it's so ridiculous. So this is where we at. Stay tuned. We'll be back. We're going to have some more updates. I don't know how we're going to break this up, but we're going to try to get this information out to as many people as possible so that they can go through it and look at it and get a clear understanding of what was going on and what happened. Peace.